Hey YouTube, what's happening? Wanted to talk a little bit today about Lindsey Williams and Illuminati secret language. He was just on Alex Jones a couple of weeks ago, and he said some very interesting things. And I know what you're saying. I know. I get impatient with listening to him too, because he runs in circles and he repeats himself. But one thing that we have to take into consideration is the guy's old. I mean, he's old. I mean, what is he, 80 something? So he did say some very interesting things, and I have the link below. So if you want to take a look at the excerpt, that's fine. He did mention that when the Illuminati communicate, they use things called buzzwords. That's exactly what he said, and he's exactly right. When the Illuminati communicate, they have a different form of communication. They have a different form of vocabulary, a different form of resonance. Okay? They use buzzwords, they use phrases, they use gestures, they use handshakes, they use architecture, they use monuments, they use movies, and they use timing. When are they saying some of the things that they're saying? So we need to pay attention here, and it always got to me because I never understood why. Why do they constantly do this? Why do they foreshadow things well in advance of things happening? And what I have actually come to the conclusion, and I'm being very short here, I could probably talk on the subject for an hour or 2 hours, but they are bound by universal law. Okay? I know it's an odd concept, but ultimately these individuals are controlled by other individuals and other power sources, so to speak. I know it sometimes they appear to be almighty and they appear to have so much power, but in the spiritual hierarchies and the hierarchies beyond what we readily notice, they're really demeaned. They're really not as powerful as you might think, and they are ultimately controlled under certain parameters, and they have to do these things. So I'll just leave it at that. And let me give you a couple of examples about specifically what I'm talking about. Joe Biden, I don't know, a month ago, a month and a half ago, came on national television and he told the American people to buck up, toughen up, and deal with it. Buck up? I mean, listen to that, buck up. I mean, those are words like whippersnapper and icebox. I mean, who's using that vocabulary these days? No one. I mean, I have a minor in English. I've read hundreds of books. I've never heard the term buck up. I actually looked in the dictionary. It's really a term. But I think what he's getting at, what the underlying theme is, hey, tell the American people to F off. Do you see how that rhythm is working? And do you see how there's an underlying theme to what he's getting at? Another example, there's the largest church in Milan, Italy, which I've actually been to. You walk in, obviously you see, Jesus on the cross and all these different, cardinals and priests and, whomever. But if you'll notice, if you look very closely, there's astrological symbols, okay, that are actually woven into the marble floor of the cathedral, okay? That's not there by accident. They are saying in the front delineation that we're Christian or we're Catholic or Jesus Christ. And then the back definition, what are they saying? We're pagan. We're pagan. We worship different deities. Hello, hello. But they don't come right out and say it. They use it in very certain terms. Another example, look at Bohemian Grove. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Bohemian Grove. Alex Jones actually got some great video footage of the cremation of care. Some ritual that they do in front of a 40-foot owl statue. Now, that owl does not represent an owl. I mean, I've talked to people that have been there. That's not what it means, okay? And think about it for a minute. If they wanted to represent an owl, why wouldn't they have real owls? Why is there this statue? Well, because the statue represents something else. It's communication. It's the underlying theme. It's not the visual image per se, directly. Okay? Movies, they foreshadow a lot of events in movies. They telegraph a lot of things in movies. I mean, Hollywood is just one big machine, and they do foreshadow in these movies. Let's look at the end of Fight Club. I have a clip below, a link, so you can take a look at it, as Edward Norton is looking to his co-star, and buildings are falling down. Well, that couldn't be a clearer case of 9/11. You couldn't imagine something that would replicate 9/11 better than that. We know that there was thermite used in the explosions, and we know that they were toppled using some type of demolition device. And here we see it a year and a half before it actually happens. The interesting thing, though, is that he grabs his co-star's hand, and they're looking at the Twin Towers as they collapse, and they actually form an M. Him and his co-star holding hands, if you look very closely, form an M. M represents 13. 13 is a code for Lucifer. That is the number that they have attributed to Lucifer. 13M Lucifer. Now, not on all occasions, not every time you see a 13, not every time you see an M, but look at the circumstances. You have a movie, you have buildings falling down, you have 13M, a year and a half before 9/11. It's very clear that the Twin Towers, as Edward Norton's looking at them, falling right in front of him. That's what it means. Let's look at Prometheus, the gold statue in Rockefeller Center. That's not there by accident. You know, you got this nice skating ring, and people bring their kids down there, and people are, you know, enjoying the winter holiday, and you've got some deity up there. It means something other than just some, you know, pretty statue. So there's communication going on, and I think it's very relative right now, because there were, in December 2010, there were some great examples of this communication. And it's funny that Lindsey Williams actually brings it up, because I was going to do a video on this anyhow, and then he brings it up. I was like, oh, well, I've got to do a video on this then. Look at what happened in the early weeks of December when Obama gave his speaking podium to Clinton, to Bill Clinton. What is he doing? Look at his gestures. A president, a sitting president, gives up the podium, gives up his power, takes a submissive position, subordinate position to another former president? That's too odd not to pay attention to. I mean, that's like Derek Jeter being in the World Series, you know, tie game, end of the ninth, and or middle of the ninth, excuse me, and he says, oh no, you know, I don't want to bat. I'm going to bring Pete Rose in. Pete Rose hasn't been on the baseball diamond in years, isn't even on the Yankees payroll, is not even relative anymore, and he's going to, you know, time out. I don't want to bat anymore. I'm going to bring Pete Rose in here to bat for me. Huh? Do you know how many people would be booing in Yankee Stadium? I mean, that's really how odd, how wild this gesture is. But that's how they communicate, okay? What's the underlying theme here? Subordination, submission, submissive, okay? The day after that, okay, or the day before that, Prince Charles' motorcade in London gets bombarded by protesters. Windows get broken, things get thrown at the car, there's all kinds of pandemonium. People, just average people, are filming him right up close to the motorcade. Whoa, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute. This guy, Prince Charles is the real deal, okay? This guy's got more money. This guy's worth trillions of dollars. He's heavily invested in BP. He's heavily invested in the Federal Reserve. He's part of the British royal family. He's one of the cornerstones of the British royal family. There is not a chance in hell that he would ever deliberately even go close to a riot or some type of confrontational scene. Where was MI5? Where was MI6? Where was all his Secret Service? Do you think for 1 second that he would allow those people to get that close to that car with all the money, with all the power that he has? I mean, at one point in time, the British royal family owned 40% of the landmass on the globe. This guy does not do these types of things by accident. It doesn't happen by accident. No way, no how, cannot happen. And Camilla's in the car with him. No. This is staging. He's saying something. What is he saying? Again, submissive. He's being subordinate to the people. He's taking a lower position. Now, he and Obama did this back to back, one in front of the other, on December 9th and December 10th, okay? That is no accident. Remember I said timing? Well, you've got great language here. Submission, submissive, timing, back to back. They're trying to say something. They're foreshadowing something. They're signaling something. And what I think it is, or definitely what it is some type of submission that's coming for Britain and some type of submission that's coming for the United States. It could be currencies. It could be some type of trade with China. It could be commodities. It could be all different types of things. What I personally think it is that they are signaling that there is weakness in the COMEX. These are COMEX and the LBMA, excuse me. Because the LBMA and the COMEX are two things that both countries have and that both countries have been, getting pummeled with. I mean, the stocks in the London Bullion Metals Association or Exchange is being drained. The stocks in the COMEX are being drained. And this is a huge, significant, earth-shattering event. Because as Max Kaiser said, when the COMEX and the LBMA, or the London Bullion Metals Exchange, become drained of their silver and or gold, they are finished. The rest of the system will topple. The banking system will come down. The corporations will come down. Everything is hinging, and as Max Kaiser said, it's like Luke Skywalker trying to shoot that little area in the Death Star that's going to set up some type of chain reaction. That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's how I see it. And that's what I wanted to say today. I mean, this is my interpretation of it. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But I think it's that they are admitting that the COMEX and the LBMA are in bad shape, and we should see some type of shakeout here in the next, I don't know, short period of time. But at bare minimum what it is it's these two countries taking some type of a submissive position, subordinate position to something, okay, at very, very bare minimum. So that's what I wanted to share today. I know it's a lot to take in, but hey, if you're gonna bring in 2011, why not do it in a big way? So thanks for listening, guys. Have a great New Year's, and keep up the struggle, keep buying the silver, stock your food, get ready, man, because the societies are in bad shape. Okay, thanks.